Hey everybody, it's Vanessa. It's week 6. I'm always nervous that I'm getting the weeks wrong, but pretty sure it's week 6. I don't know what the days are anymore, but I know it's week 6. Days are a whole different thing, right? So I'm here. Kristen's here. We'll see how everybody joins slowly. Oh, there's Carrie. Hi, Carrie. It's not even a deep breath anymore. It's like an exhale of of everything. So that's all right. We're here. We're working on being here, staying present. It's more challenging these days, I suppose, but we're okay. We're doing okay. I don't know if I'm joking or not. Nobody knows. Anyway, yes, Jordan, do you like my background? I know it's my background. I put it up there. Actually, Bill put it up for me. Anyway, so where shall we begin? I kind of want a few more people to join in. Hey, John and Janie. All the J's are joining. It's so weird. So in light of all the greatness that's going on, I'm half facetious and half faithful, but I wanted to start actually off with a reading from the book of, it's like the book of Job, no, the book of Nonviolent Communication. If you have not heard of this book, I highly recommend that you take a look, because it is the basis of all communications. You know, it's like communicating 101, basically. You're going to read it and go, oh, that's a dumb moment. But the truth is that doing communication style in live person can prove to be quite challenging, because as I mentioned last year, holy Lord, I've lost a year. As I mentioned last week, not last year, that every one of us has their own style of communicating. So we may be similar in many aspects of it, but our actual way of doing it is always a little different, which makes life so interesting and also very challenging. So I'm going to start off with a reading from the book of Nonviolent Communication. And it says, observing without evaluating. By the way, I did not think of this. I just opened the book and it was there. It says, observe. There are few things that are as important as religious as that. I can handle your telling me what I did or didn't do, and I can handle your interpretations, but please don't mix the two. If you want to confuse any issue, I can tell you how to do it. Mix together what I do with how you react to it. Tell me that you're disappointed with the unfinished chores you see, but calling me irresponsible is no way to motivate me. And tell me that you're feeling hurt when I say no to your advances, but calling me a frigid man won't increase your future chances. Yes, I can handle your telling me what I did or didn't do, and I can handle your interpretations, but please don't mix the two. It's worth reading again, but pretty much when we communicate, one of our major downfalls is that most of us will say something like, oh, he's being such a jerk, and then the other person has to go, well, why is he being such a jerk? Oh, well, he didn't take out the I'm giving you the stupidest, the most ridiculous example I can think of. He didn't take out the garbage when I asked him to. He's ignoring me. He's doing this, whatever. But the truth is, when you start giving a bold statement, like a blanket statement like that, you're confusing everything, because you're not really just mad that he didn't take out the garbage. What's bothering you is that you don't feel listened to. So even with something as simple as the garbage, you have to be very direct. Like, I asked you to take out the garbage, you didn't do it. That makes me feel like, and then you have to start off with that. Because the two are different things. You're interpreting why somebody's not doing something, and if you can think pretty wildly right now how that could mix things up, it's pretty simple. So there is more to this. Okay. So when we combine observation with evaluation, people are apt to hear criticism. So as soon as you start telling somebody how they are, and you'll see this on social media all the time, and this is one of the biggest problems that we're heading into, that people are just calling each other crazy things. And right away, what's going to happen? Everybody's going to be on the defense. So we have to really think about this and how we're saying things to people. So even if other people are doing it, just bear witness to it, because once you start modeling it, other people will begin to, listen and go slower with their statements and things like that. But it is really, really hard right now to do this in practice. So I highly recommend grabbing this book. Amongst many, I will recommend this one first, because it's so valuable right now. Because I'm speaking to the people that are so compassionate, that really wear their heart on their sleeves. So I don't think that's any of your issues, but I do think that everybody can really benefit from a book like this, and then trying to put it into practice is a whole nother way. So it's different from talking to your girlfriend or whatever and venting and ranting. I'm saying that because I'm seeing my girlfriend sign out. I'm like, yeah, they know. We can complain about our partners or what we think should happen in the world or whatever. But when you're thinking about what's happening in the world right now and how we treat each other specifically online, it's incredibly and vastly different from how you would treat somebody you really love. Hopefully. It's not as anonymous. It's, but it has to start with your home, because when you can start in your home, that's actually way harder than it would be with a stranger, believe it or not. So if you can stay with a conversation that is usually very, very difficult, and that's going to be part of the homework this week, then you'll be able to see how you can use that to actually take away the high emotionality, the rage, the violence that's actually happening in the way we speak to each other outside of the home. But it has to start with the people that are closest to you, because those are the most challenging. The more history you have with somebody, the more difficult it's going to be. In yoga, I remember many, many, many years ago, I was like kind of bragging. I was so proud of myself. I went to an ashram called Shivananda, and they let me take care of the cows, and that was my karmic yoga for the day. And I was so excited, and I was telling somebody about it, and she stopped me because she was really Hindi, and she looked at me, she said, I'm not going to even try to do the accent, that family is the highest karmic yoga. And I was like, oh, because I was like really, really young. And she said, yeah, because it's the hardest. And I had to stop for a second. I'm like, well, that makes a whole lot of sense. That would be the hardest. So yeah, that would be the highest karmic yoga, because to be able to stay with your family, sometimes people that, are maybe a trauma in your life or just difficult to stay with, and that's on both sides, both parties, it can be really hard. So what does that mean? It's going to be the most rewarding as well. So that was one of the biggest things that I learned within like 3 minutes of my life. And so a book like this, it's worth to get your highlighter out, take some notes, and just start doing some simple exercises with it. And you're going to be a little guffawed, if you will, at how difficult it can be to separate your emotions from your observations and then actually speak to people in that way. A lot of sorry, oh my gosh, I can't spit it out. Help me, Kristen. Reflective listening, spit it out, where you're really saying like, I heard you say, and then you just spitting back exactly what they're saying in their words, so that people are not defensive, so that they feel listened to. It's a really big practice. So nonviolent communication, also known as NVC, huge in probably all over the place, the business world, definitely, and I don't know if they necessarily put it into action, but also a yogic thing for sure, because we all need it. So like I said, I want you to do it within the people that are closest to you first. So if you can Kindle this or download it or whatever you want to do, or if you can Amazon it too, that's all good, but highly, highly recommend it. So you're trying to separate emotion versus your observation, because we all create these stories, right? Like somebody says something and it sets you off. You may not realize it right away, and you're just reacting to it. So you have this reactivity that just keeps building up and building up and building up. And guess what we're in right now? We are in full reactivity mode, all over the place. And there's so much I can say about it, but we need to slow that down. Slow that down so that we can build up and really work together and be together on it. So that's what I want to say about nonviolent communication. For starters, just one more time, as people are building up on the views. Doop-doop. Okay. So only a couple on Zoom. I feel like this week has probably emotionally and physically fatigued most people, which is why people aren't even signing on right now. So let's talk about that a little bit. Kristen's eye rolling. I can see that as she fades into her background. So, people on Facebook Live, give me a thumbs up if I am correct in my evaluation of, are you emotionally and physically drained currently? Anybody? It's just a simple guess, but I'm pretty sure you probably are. So even if you wouldn't consider yourself an empath, even if you don't even know what that means or whatever it is, even if you don't even think you're sensitive to energy, I'm pretty sure, yeah, Danielle's like, yes, most people are feeling just like, oh wow, almost in the sense of, I could be getting sick, I'm not sure, oh my God, is it corona? It's most likely the draining feeling of what's going on. So you're probably familiar with the term energy vampires, and energy vampires are the ones that they're not just venting with you, they're more like ranting at you, and that rant is like a drain on your energy. So usually when you get off the phone with them, you feel way worse, and truthfully, they don't even really feel better. They're just stuck in that place of that continuous complaints, like, this is my story, this is my life, everything's really, really hard. You can tell the difference when you get off the phone with your good friends, you both finished ranting, or only one didn't, and you still actually feel fine. You feel for them, but you don't feel like your energy has been taken away. You don't feel completely immersed as if you're them and your whole world is crumbling. So guess what's happening right now? So right now, as we speak, and I do think the energy is shifting into this week, and we'll talk about that too, but right now as we speak, all this energy that's been building up and building up and building up, all this media that's feeding us like some horrible and really, really scary, and then some, good trickling in or whatever, all of it, this constant bombardment, like we spoke about this last week, it can be very draining, very, very draining, which is why some people have chosen to get off social media, which kudos to them. But I also keep saying, like, we'll come back on Sunday nights and just listen to me trying to help everybody get through it. But the homework for last week, part of it was putting your passion into action. And I'm not going to sit even like after with the community stuff and ask what you did specifically to do that. But I do want you to think about this week and think about how you felt after you did something for what you believe. And I'm not asking you what you believe, just the feeling of purposefully acting on something that you feel passionate about. So all that, whatever, most people felt a lot of anger, grief mixed up, everything happening. And whether your action was going to do something actively like a protest, or whether your action was more just educating people or donating, whatever it was, because I'm not going to tell you what you should or shouldn't do. Whatever it was, I just want you to take note of how it feels to put your passion into action. And it could be about any issue. It doesn't have to be about exactly what's going on. It could be about COVID. It could be about work. It could be non-political. It could be about your dreams. Anything like that. You have to take note of how you do that and when you do it, and give yourself some space for that to happen. A lot of times, even when we do our giant to-do list, we don't give any space to it, meaning like we don't give ourselves time in the next minute afterwards to breathe and to say, okay, I finished that, or I finished that part of it. How do I feel? And to reflect on it. The reflection part is just as important as the action part. When you build a reflectivity into your daily life, and that means with anything, The reflection part is going to give you information on what feels good to your vibratory needs and how you can help others. So reflection is really, really important. And that's part of meditation. But here's a secret, come in really close. That part of meditation is in your daily life all the time, if you take those moments to take breaths. So say you finish something as silly as the laundry, right? And you're like, but I still have all these 500 things to do before I can even make that important phone call, before I can even help with this, blah, blah, blah. You have to give yourself that reflection, because if you don't, you're going to be caught up in this intense cycle of, I never have time, I never get anything done, I feel like I'm defeated. Like, it's never going to stop. Our needs for what we need to do, what we feel like we need to do, it never stops. So you have to purposefully stop it. You have to take those breaks. Very vital to your mental and physical well-being. Wealth-being. Hey, that's good. That's a new term. So I'm going to say that again. Even if it's something as trite as doing the laundry, it's on your list, and you finished it, you're going to sit for 1 minute and just take your breaths and reflect on how it feels to get something done. Because every day has its own challenges, right? I mean, how many of us, especially lately, are having more difficulty getting up in the morning, or having more difficulty, getting those happy feelings, or all these things that we take almost for granted in a sense when things are easier or working more smoothly. So all these things, if you don't give yourself that time, you're going to feel really depressed. And that's not just the people that are prone to depression. That's basically across the board. So mindfully give yourself that space. And if you need praise for it, you are welcome to text me, message me, whatever, and be like, guess what? I brushed my teeth and I did the laundry, and then maybe I worked up to something a little bit more so-called important or whatever, and I did that. And I will go, wow, that's amazing. On the scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the hardest, what level was each one of that for you? And if you put down your list and you wrote like, oh, that was a 5, that was a 6, that was a 10, you're going to start being much more appreciative of your efforts and what you're doing. And you won't need a lot of external praise. It will just start to feel good, and then you'll start to really know yourself. Make sense? Kristen, you're the only face I can see, so give me some feedback because I need feedback. Thanks, man. Great. So across the board, everybody has some sort of feeling going on. And then last week I was also discussing, not last year, I was also discussing, because it feels like a year, how, now I lost my train of thought because I'm making jokes. Stop it, Vanessa. What was I saying? Last week. I don't know what I was saying. I'll come back to it. That's fine. So taking note of stuff, reflecting. Okay, we were talking about homework. Yeah, laundry. Laundry is a bitch, Danielle. I'm so with you on that. It is a bitch, especially if you have kids. These tiny clothing, I just want to throw them all over the place. Anyway, so what was the other part of the homework? It's still with the kindness. That's going to continue. I mean, the homework from last week, particularly if you're on Facebook, you really, really need to look at last week's homework, because that's going to continue and we're going to keep growing upon it. We did discuss Brahmari breath, which is the bee humming breath. I'm curious to see if anybody tried that. Maybe we should do it tonight. We could do that. Yeah, so pranayama breathing is such a good layer to purposeful meditation, in the sense of like, all right, you did your task and now you need that moment. And in that moment, most people don't really know how to just sit and just be. So a breath work that's more complicated, I'm saying complicated, but it gives that extra layer of like more than, okay, I'm just counting my breaths. Like Brahmari, you're making a sound, you're making a vibration, you're actually covering your eyes and you hold your ears. So you're numbing out to the rest of the world. Well, that's what I was talking about, the numbing. That is that layer that a lot of minds need to calm and soothe. So why don't we just do a really short and quick Brahmari? So I'm just going to do it this way, easy way. thumbs into the ears. You can pretend so you can hear me, but I'm just going to show you. Thumbs into the ears. I did send a link to, it's up on my page too. And then you just cover your eyes. Okay. So let's pretend that we're closing off our hearing and our sight. You can also bring the tip of the tongue to the roof of the mouth to complete that circle, give space in the jaw. And then it's just simply humming, but you're bringing that buzz right into the forefront, into the maxillary sinuses, and you'll get like a little tingling all over there. And you can see that right away we'll get a little tingly, and it will actually activate the third eye. So there's other ways of doing it too, where you're actually covering the third eye or you're holding it. But we can do that right at the end of our meditation tonight too. So we'll work on that too. I was talking about last week, that feeling of being a little numb. So it's like, raise your hand if you had that this week, or if things have shifted. So it's interesting that we have this amazing capacity inside of ourselves to adapt. Like, seriously adapt. And I'm talking about so strongly that here we are, we're in month 500. No, it's not 500. April, May, June. Okay, 3+, that we've had to change so many things. Even essential workers, even if they're going to work or whatever, life has changed massively for everybody, more for some. In these ways of adaptation, part of it, like the chakras have this, like I said, this amazing way of opening and closing and vibrating all this way. And when they're super open and super happy, they're so beautiful and really, really, really open. And then when they start to get a little challenged, they start to close because they want to protect us. So always think of like the spine, the way the spine works and the muscles around it. And it's totally fine and it's totally normal as long as we don't stay there. So what's happening right now for a lot of us is that we're really being challenged in such an extensive way that the chakras are going, oh God, I don't know if I can take another hit. Oh my God, I don't think. But the more we work on this reflectivity, this giving inherent pauses after we finish things, and hell, in between too, like during it, okay, this is getting overwhelming. I need to stop and take 5 breaths. Maybe I'll do Brahmari. Maybe I'll do another one that we've worked on and just do that for like literally a minute. And you'll see there's a massive difference because you've given your body and mind some space to literally breathe. My friend Candace is on here, always, has this energetic observation that is particularly with the kids around because they're little and like just like chatting all around me, that she just gives the imagery of little balls running all like around me, like flying and zooming because I have to handle all of it at once. And I think she's amused at how do you get through that? How do you do that? There is no secret. The truth is, it's all about, I don't get to do like a serious pranayama version of stuff. I just keep doing it consistently throughout the day. Giant sighs, big sounds, lots of humming, lots of just slow breathing, pausing the kids, making them sing something with me. It's a lot of purposeful ways of getting that pause. Very, very important, because I know if I didn't, I wouldn't be letting them zoom around. They would just be bombarding my face. So there's a good image, right? So this pause in your feeling, the numbness that's happened sometimes, super important. We think of it as a bad thing generally because we don't want to have, we don't want to have major emotional disturbances, or personality disturbances even. But the truth is, right now, it's super important. So if you start to feel a little like, kind of numb zombie mode, it's okay. Just make sure that you're still doing the work of reaching out to people and saying, listen, I haven't laughed all day. Could you help me out with that? Listen, I haven't even cried in a week. Can you help me out with that? Because the truth is, you need it. You need it. And as long as you can keep breaking away from that numbness every so often, you're going to feel a ton better. Watch your favorite movies. It sounds ridiculous, but obviously we kind of knew at the beginning of all this, everyone was baking bread. We were looking for our heavy duty foods that are comfort foods, macaroni and cheese, I'm not going to name any names, all this stuff, right, that we like, all right, what's that satiating feeling? Give me something that's going to make me feel good right away, right? We know that, but we forget that oxygen is really, really important, and it does some amazing things to us, and you can get high off of oxygen. Did you know that? So we forget that we have all these other ways of making us feel a ton better. Maybe not completely elated all the time, but we can feel a heck of a lot better. And laughter is one of the most simplistic ones that I think people really underestimate. There is literally laughter therapy. You just need your good friends for that. So if you're feeling super junky and nothing I'm saying is getting through, all you need to do is give me a call. I will be a clown for you for the next 10 minutes. Kristen's laughing at me. I don't care. I will make you laugh. And you're going to remember that, oh yeah, life is good. It is tough at times, but it's also super, super fun. Stop laughing at me. I will be your clown. That's gonna be my next advertisement. Like, I don't need to pay for advertising. I'm just gonna be like, if you feel junky, I will be your clown. I have no problem with that. And this will make you laugh. My daughter made me have a bling nail. Bam. So, is that Carrie laughing at me? Perfect. There's no sparkles on it yet, but there will be later on. So, we need this. We need each other. Yes, we need to watch Friends on Seinfeld. Seinfeld, by the way, is on Hulu. I have not seen Friends anywhere except for YouTube, and I have to watch like 3 minutes at a time, but that's okay. I'll deal. Oh, Carrie did give me part of a set, and I'm going to have to just put the DVDs in and deal with it. Yes, Laura, I'm showing you the nails. Take it. Do you like it? Do you like it? So, yeah, Danielle, come over. We'll wear masks. I'll put you outside, and I'll do your nails. No problem. So if you find yourself seriously like full on zombie mode, okay, then that's time to break out of it. You have to make sure you laugh at least once a day. When I say once a day, I'm totally underestimating you. I want you to laugh way more than that. But you have to make sure that you remember that why people are fighting, why people are angry, why all this stuff is going on, because we know that life is supposed to be happy. It's supposed to be happy. There's always going to be people that are going to feel like it's never going to happen, or it's so negative we can't get out of anything. But the truth is, the only thing you should ever really fight for at the purpose of all of this was for us to be together and to be happy. Got it? We're supposed to be happy together. Rainbows, every single color, and I really want to make a t-shirt for this, every single color, beautiful on its own, right? Red is beautiful on its own. Orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet, beautiful on its own. When is it beautiful? The most beautiful, when it's together. Okay? That's why a rainbow is beautiful, because it's all together. So you can't pretend that you're fine on your own for an extended period of time, because it's not going to work. We're supposed to be together. Got it? Hands, thumbs, all that stuff. Good, great. Got all my girls tonight. Love it. Ooh, now I hear myself. That was weird. So tonight we're going to, give me a shout out. What else do you want to watch before we go into our meditation? Tell me what's your stuff. Nick at Night. I love it. My mom made me watch I Love Lucy last night on Hulu. I think it was Hulu. And we were dying because we were like, first of all, they look so young. They look so freaking young. They used to call why I just lost Lucy's friend. What's her name? Ethel. I was like, Myrtle? What the hell? They used to call Ethel fat on that show, by the way. If you can imagine, okay? She's gorgeous. Her skin is flawless. She's got a voice like a bird. Like, all these things that were so serious. And I'm watching the show, I'm going, these people are amazing. Like, they're amazing. So, anyway, you have to find your jam, and you have to share it with others. Watch it together. Watch it with friends. You can go on Zoom and watch. You can go on Facebook group, whatever. I don't care. But make sure you're doing that, because that homework is just as important as putting your passion into action. Just as important. Because if you're not laughing, you are not living. Okay? Take a breath. Time goes fast. I saw that. Hey, Katie. Hey, Laura. I'm not saying hi to everybody because I'm just babbling, and I've decided that when I watch the video back, I'm like, I'm saying hi to everybody. That's okay. It's all good. I love you all. I really do, though. So tonight, I took a special trip to my office in Huntington. If you can believe it, I have not been back there since March 15th. I remember it well. It was a Sunday. It was the day before my birthday. It was the day when my parents told me they would not be seeing us again. And I cried hysterically on the way home. I remember it well. So I walked into the office. I don't even remember driving there. It was the weirdest thing. And I appeared and I was like, is this a dream? I took everything that I could that I knew I would need for now. I blessed it again. I thanked it for holding space. It actually felt pretty good in there considering. And yeah, so one of the things I took back with me was my awesome singing bowl. Yay! So tonight's meditation is going to be different. It's going to be off the cuff, which is how Vanessa usually rolls. So it makes sense, doesn't it? Don't you think? And it's all for you. So I hope you enjoy. So if you're not there yet, you're going to get into a very comfortable position. You can lie back. You can shut the lights off. I will try not to bang this intensely. So a quick lesson on a singing bowl, Tibetan singing bowl. This one is pure like that. Typically they have 7 alloys together to represent the chakras. Thank you for noticing the background. We're trying to upgrade. This is beautiful mandala. So they have the 7 chakras represented in this, and this one is from India. A client gave it to me many, many years ago. And it's very, very heavy, so my left bicep is usually stronger than the right. And I'll also show you a much smaller one. This is not the right striking thing, that's okay. So I'm not going to give you a giant lesson in singing bowls tonight, but I wanted you to hear them both. So the higher ones are usually for the higher chakras, lower for the lowest, but you'll hear many pitches in the lower one when I strike. And then you can hear it. And then I can go around. It's kind of hard to do like this, but I gotta hold it. Playing a little bit with this tonight. So you're going to become very aware of your breath. Focusing on the sound of my voice and the way the singing bowl begins and ends. And I go solely, in a lot of instances, on how strong my intention is. So sometimes I'll sage. The windows don't have to be open because I know my intention is the strongest. So even though you're not next to me with the singing bowl, I know that as I send healing energy to you, the bowl is doing the same, and the sound is going to help tune you up. So the vibrations in your body go nice and even, and they raise up as we continue to meditate. So the breath becomes just like a wave. It rises slowly, and then the apex comes right around the head. And as you make that big, long exhale, you'll feel it come down into your belly, softens around the hips. into the knees, the calves, ankles, and feet. Noticing how the chest is feeling as the breath has slowed down. Can you allow the shoulders to drop farther back? Allow them to have space between the ears, allowing all the muscles to seep backwards and down, releasing fully. And then noticing how the tongue wants to fall away from now, the roof of the mouth, giving some space there, releasing the jaw. Releasing the jaw, releasing the tongue. Notice how breath comes and goes easier now, more freely. Notice how the muscles around your eyes have softened. Exact precise pressure against it. You can only hold it with one hand, by the way. You'll have almost like a feedback, like a ringing feedback, and it can be quite beautiful. Doesn't matter to me, but so it takes a lot of focus to keep everything very, very constant. You have to be slow with it and very, very patient with how you treat the bowl, so that the bowl can create this awesome vibration against your pressure. So the more pressure consistently given, I can create this sound. But then there's this pushback, and I have to be really careful with how I treat it. So that little ring at the end, ring. Just allow breath to take over. They're surrendering now. And in this moment of surrender, you'll feel the want to release your fingers fully, to really allow them to just have no tension. You're going to allow them to have space. So bring the breath all the way into the fingertips now. And now you're going to press your fingers into your thumb one by one. So each breath, you'll press the index into the thumb, and then the next, and then the next. And then you'll reverse it. So you just take a total of at least 8 to 10 breaths. Keeping the sound consistent. I'm doing that on purpose, believe it or not, because I'm working to almost like bring a bombardment into the senses, and then as you release, every time you have that next exhale, more energy disperses, more energy comes out. It will feel like you're taking a big exhale. So I'm actually helping move the energy for you. So sound healing is really, really intent driven, and it gives a lot of space to the body and the mind to bring everything into one solid focus, and then allow the movement after. Feel that build up if I build that speed. You're still focusing on your finger breaths, pressing each fingertip into the thumb. So you should be wrapping that up. But of course there's no rush, because all you're doing here is breathing and listening. And now you're going to allow the breath to travel down further and further around the hips. Feeling the low back start to gather some warmth and release. So even if you have a stiffness or an achiness going there, just remember that even during healing, it's not necessarily comfortable all the time. Healing can be a big process, and when we're doing an external practice, we're working on bringing it internally and to gather the vibrations and to allow that to release. Sometimes we'll make the stagnations kind of build up, like I was saying, like that big wave, and then slowly it will start to release. So even if you don't feel the body releasing yet, you'll even feel the effects of something like this. It could be hours later. It could even be for days later, because anything that's chronic will have to clear. It takes more time. So now you're bringing that breath further down, going around the knees. And then softly release it down towards the ankle and the feet. You can even imagine somebody pressing into your feet, and that will help ground all that energy downward. So that healing white light that we've been working with for the past 5 weeks previously, for some of you, if you haven't joined, you're going to listen to them on Facebook so you know what we're talking about. But that healing white light, it's the one that comes from all of us. It's the one that's from divine. But even if you don't believe in divine, you can just say it comes from love. It's the greatest feeling of love. And that white light now, as you do this breath work with the sound, is going to start to come through your entire body. We've made it all the way down to the feet, but now we're going to bring it back up to the head. And at the crown of the head, which is right at the top, you're going to feel another pull, like another string is being pulled. A lengthening in the spine, in the entire body. And it becomes a channel for that white light to go all the way down through the midline of the body. So now every soft exhale is going to bring that light further and further down this channel. It's clearing out. It's making space for healing. It's going to allow your whole body to become in its perfect alignment. Going into vibrant health, emotional ease, mental acuity. All that is available and ready. Of your own home, if you so choose, you can join in some humming. So we don't need to cover our eyes or our ears right now for Brahmarita. What we need to do is allow that hum, that breath, that buzz to start. So you can do it with the buzz of the Brahmari breath, like a bee, like focusing it here. You could do it with an Om sound. It doesn't matter if it sounds good. That's the best thing about chants. You don't have to focus on your pitch or anything. You're just focusing on getting the sound. So I'm giving a tone to it, but it could also just be so do that on your own. I can actually feel you guys from where I am. All this energy building, clearing out. So deepening the breath again, allowing that big wave to come, that feeling of releasing, understanding that healing happens in these pauses. It happens when we reflect so that we have the space to give, the space to be. And then we can move into this amazing feeling of just gentle peace, allowing all the love to surface, all the efforts to come into fruition. So take that breath and ride that out. I'll give one more strong movement on the bowl. Deep inhalation all together. And then one more time with that awareness of the white light, allowing that to come through the center of the body. Exhaling it all the way down past the feet now, and allow it to circle out. You can send it to anyone of your choosing. You send it without any judgment, and all with love. And watch it go around the world 1,000,000 times, connecting us all with that softness and grace. Great. So So if you didn't catch the beginning of the chat and all that, I highly recommend that you go back after I've stopped, either tonight or another day, and just listen to what I was talking about. Homework is always going to be on my professional page. Please invite others to join. That's how we make differences. And just think about it, you know, riding those waves and taking those moments throughout the day. Meditation doesn't have to be a designated time. It's just the next breath, into the next breath, but mindfully doing it. Okay? So thank you so much for joining here and doing it with me. But again, I'm sure you know a million people that can benefit from this. Take advantage and share it, okay? So thank you so much. And if you want to join in on our community chat, you can give some input afterwards. I'm going to stop this video and I'll start another one. And I'll see you there. Bye guys. Namaste.